The story begins in silence so complete it feels ancient, as if the soil itself has been holding its breath. Beneath the packed layers of leaf litter and clay, where roots twist like slow serpents and moisture clings to every surface, a hidden community waits. For most of their existence, cicada nymphs remain sealed within this world of darkness and muted vibrations. They are born here, they grow here, and for years upon years they remain ghosts beneath the forest's feet. Their presence is marked only by faint shifts in the earth and the steady pull of their needle-thin mouthparts, drawing sap from the living veins of trees. Life underground shapes them in ways that are easy to overlook. Their bodies are built not for speed or agility, but for persistence. Each nymph moves with a steady, patient rhythm, tunneling through soil that shifts slowly around them. They are guided less by sight than by the vibrations of seasons above. The variation in tree fluids, the subtle change in temperature, the deeper hum of summer light filtering through the world they cannot yet see. Their growth is calibrated to the pulse of the forest itself. Some species wait 17 years before surfacing, others 13, others only a small handful, but all follow the same principle. They emerge when the forest cycles reach the precise conditions encoded in their lineage. The soil overhead is their shield. Predators roam above. Birds, squirrels, rodents, reptiles, all too eager to seize a soft-bodied prize. Underground, the nymphs face fewer threats, and those that do find them are specialized hunters accustomed to blind pursuit. Yet even these dangers pale compared to the gauntlet awaiting them on the surface. The nymph's long subterranean childhood is not mere delay. It is a calculation perfected through evolutionary experimentation. By lengthening their development to spans measured not in seasons, but in cycles of the moon and growth rings in bark, cicadas create patterns that predators cannot reliably track. No bird population evolves to depend on an event that occurs only once or twice in its lifetime. When the time comes, the transformation is not announced with noise, but with motion. Tiny fissures begin to open across the forest floor, and the soil rises in loose mounds as dozens, then hundreds, then thousands of nymphs push upward with the blunt strength of their forelegs. The forest that seemed still a moment before becomes alive with rustling earth. It is a mass ascent shaped by millennia of evolutionary timing, emerging in numbers so overwhelming that predators, no matter how numerous or hungry, cannot consume more than a fraction. A single nymph breaks through first, its body glistening with moisture as it exposes itself to open air for the very first time. It hesitates, tasting the wind through sensory hairs designed to detect humidity, light, and potential threats. There is no turning back. Driven by instinct and the need to climb, it moves toward the nearest vertical surface, a root, a fallen branch, or most often, the rough bark of a tree trunk. Others soon follow, forming a slow procession upward, their legs gripping bark with surprising precision. The forest now seems alive with soft scraping, the sound of countless feet searching for elevation. The climb is not merely escape, it is preparation. Cicadas cannot transform safely on the ground. They must anchor themselves high enough that their emerging bodies will not crumple upon the soil. Once a nymph finds a suitable perch, it remains still, allowing internal pressure to build. The exoskeleton, rigid and unyielding, begins to crack along a predetermined seam. A pale line appears, then widens, revealing the soft, newly formed adult inside. The back splits open with a slow, deliberate motion, and the cicada begins to pull itself free. It emerges as a ghostly figure, pale, almost translucent, with wings folded like delicate paper against its sides. Hanging backward from its old shell, it uses gravity to extend its body, letting hemolymph flood into its wings. Over the next minutes, those wings unfurl, stretching into the broad, veined structures that will soon carry it into the canopy. The transformation looks fragile, but it is one of the most precisely timed events in the insect world. Any misstep, a fall, a predator, a sudden drop in humidity, could mean death. Above, predators gather quickly. Bats wheel through the twilight canopy, taking advantage of the sudden feast. Birds pick at emerging adults before their wings harden. Rodents patrol the forest floor, finding nymph shells still clinging to bark. But even as predators gorge themselves, the swarm continues. The forest offers more bodies than anything can possibly consume. This is the essence of cicada survival, overwhelming abundance as a shield. By emerging synchronously in astronomical numbers, cicadas invert the predator-prey dynamic. Instead of being hunted to extinction, they saturate the ecosystem with so much food that most individuals survive simply because predators reach their limit long before the swarm thins out. As the night deepens, the pale adults darken into the familiar hues of their species, earthy browns, deep blacks, or vibrant greens depending on lineage. Their wings gain structure and rigidity, reinforced by networks of veins that act as internal scaffolding. By dawn, many are capable of flight. The forest begins to thrum with their presence. Males ascend into branches, anchoring themselves securely before producing the resonant calls cicadas are famous for. These sounds are not merely noise. They are precise biological signals. Each species produces a distinct pattern, ensuring that even in a mixed emergence, mating remains selective and genetically consistent. The emergence creates ripples far beyond the immediate drama of predators and prey. Trees, relieved temporarily of root-feeding nymphs, experience changes in nutrient flow. Soil aeration increases due to the tunnels left behind. Even streams benefit when cicada bodies fall into the water, triggering brief surges of growth in fish and aquatic insects. Entire ecosystems pulse around the rhythm of these insects that rise from the earth only once in many years. Yet the most striking aspect of this spectacle is what it reveals about evolutionary strategy. Cicadas have chosen a path radically different from the armor, stealth, or venom that protects so many other insects. Instead, they rely on time and overwhelming scale. By syncing their emergence with generational precision, they create natural events so enormous that no single predator group can adapt to exploit them fully. Their very predictability becomes protection, because the intervals are too wide for predator populations to remain specialized. Transformation for cicadas is not just a biological milestone, it is a weapon. Their emergence destabilizes food webs, floods ecosystems with energy, and ensures that enough individuals survive to repeat the cycle decades later. Every ghost rising from the soil is part of an ancient strategy, a communal surge through which the forest is briefly rewritten. When the sun finally rises over a forest humming with new wings, the silence that once defined the world beneath the soil feels impossible. The ghosts have become a chorus, their long years of waiting exchanged for a brief, intense life above ground. And as they cling to bark, mate, and eventually fall, they leave behind the promise of another generation, already beginning its silent countdown deep below. At the edge of a sun-drenched meadow, where milkweed stands rise like green spires from the soil, a small striped creature moves with a kind of deliberate hunger. The monarch caterpillar feeds not in silence, but with a faint rasping rhythm, each bite carving away another arc of leaf tissue. This landscape of milkweed is not merely food. It is the foundation of a strategy shaped over millions of years. For the caterpillar, every mouthful delivers a chemical inheritance. The plant defends itself with cardiac glycosides, bitter compounds that disrupt cell function in most would-be herbivores. Yet the monarch caterpillar treats these poisons as nutrients, absorbing and storing them within its tissues. Over time, its body becomes a reservoir of toxicity that will eventually serve a different form and a different life entirely. The caterpillar's colors, bold bands of yellow, white, and black, may seem decorative, but they are early warnings to the meadow's predators. Birds that make the mistake of tasting one of these larvae learn quickly to avoid anything painted in those trademark stripes. The boldness is not accidental. It is an evolutionary advertisement of danger. In these early days, the caterpillar's life appears simple: feed, grow, molt, and repeat. But inside its cells, a more complex preparation is already underway. Every stage of feeding builds both mass and chemical ammunition, setting the stage for the transformation that will soon follow. Milkweed itself is part of a larger ecological story. By tapping into its toxic reservoir, monarchs lock themselves into a unique herbivore-plant relationship that shapes their entire life cycle. Their digestive physiology includes transport proteins that resist the plant's toxins allowing them access to a resource few other insects can exploit. This exclusivity means less competition for food and a head start on chemical defense. But it also binds monarch populations tightly to the distribution of milkweed. Where the plant thrives, monarchs can thrive. Where it declines, they cannot follow. After days of relentless feeding, the caterpillar reaches a threshold dictated not by hunger, but by developmental timing. It stops feeding and begins to roam, its body swelling slightly as internal pressure builds. Eventually it finds a sheltered perch, often the underside of a sturdy leaf or a twig that offers isolation and stability. With slow precision, it attaches itself by spinning a silk pad and hooking the tip of its body into the anchor point. Then it releases its grip, hanging in a curved shape known as the J posture. It remains motionless, but the stillness is deceptive. Inside, a cascade of hormonal signals shifts every cell toward metamorphosis. The skin begins to tighten, and with a series of muscular contractions, the caterpillar sheds its final larval layer. What emerges is not another striped form, but a jade-colored chrysalis, smooth and rigid, decorated along the top with small golden spots that glint when touched by sunlight. To an untrained eye, it appears inert. But the chrysalis is not a shelter, it is a workshop. Inside, the body undergoes one of nature's most dramatic reorganizations. The process is neither gentle nor simple. Tissues that served the caterpillar's crawling, chewing life begin to break down, dissolving into nutrient-rich fluid. Stem-like cells, dormant during the larval phases, flare into activity. They draw from these internal reserves to assemble an entirely new body plan. Wings with fine venation, legs built for grasping, antennae tuned to airborne cues, and flight muscles that will power a journey spanning thousands of kilometers. This is not merely transformation, it is reconstruction. Metamorphosis allows the monarch to abandon its old ecological niche and step into an entirely new one. In evolutionary terms, it is equivalent to switching careers, habitats, diets, and defense strategies all in one event. The chrysalis stage is a marvel of controlled change. Temperature influences development speed, but the internal sequence never wavers. The butterfly that forms inside is built for movement through open air, not for clinging to milkweed stems. Its wings must be as light as they are durable, reinforced by microscopic scales arranged like interlocking shingles. Its thorax will concentrate the muscles required for sustained flight. Even its nervous system adjusts, shifting from a life spent navigating leaf surfaces to one guided by wind patterns, solar position, and magnetic fields. After days inside the protective casing, subtle darkening begins to reveal the outline of the adult within. The orange and black pattern becomes visible through the thinning chrysalis wall, each vein and patch suggesting the geometry of the species. Then, in a final gesture of emergence, the chrysalis splits along its seam. A butterfly drops downward, clinging to the empty shell with delicate new legs. Its wings are small and crumpled at first, folded tightly to fit within the chrysalis's confines. Slowly, the butterfly pumps hemolymph through its wing veins, causing them to expand and flatten. Once filled and dried, the wings gain rigidity, becoming the aerodynamic structures required for migration. The creature that now clings to the chrysalis bears little resemblance to the leaf-eating larva it once was. Its entire physiology is adapted for long-distance flight, a lightweight exoskeleton, elongated forewings that generate lift with minimal energy expenditure, and a metabolism capable of drawing efficiently from stored fats. Monarchs are among the few insects capable of transcontinental migration, traveling from northern breeding grounds to overwintering sites thousands of kilometers away. This journey is not achieved through strength alone, but through their ability to read environmental cues. They navigate using a combination of the sun's position, internal circadian clocks, and the Earth's magnetic field, allowing them to follow ancient routes without ever having flown them before. Yet even with this new identity, the monarch carries a reminder of its former life. The toxins acquired as a caterpillar remain within its body, now acting as a defense not only for itself, but also for the population as a whole. The vivid orange wings, striking against green leaves and blue sky, serve the same purpose as the larval stripes, to warn predators. Birds that attempt to consume monarchs often experience nausea and discomfort, creating a strong aversion that reinforces the butterfly's protection. Over time, this warning signal has shaped mimicry in other species, such as the viceroy butterfly, which copies the monarch's pattern to borrow its reputation for toxicity. In this way, monarch chemistry influences entire networks of ecological relationships. As the butterfly takes its first flight, the transformation becomes complete. It leaves behind the restricted world of milkweed leaves and adopts a new role as a pollinator and traveler. The shift from larva to adult is not about beauty, though the vibrant wings make it easy to forget. It is a change in ecological function. The caterpillar is a tank, slow, heavily armored with chemical defenses, and focused entirely on consuming enough plant matter to fuel metamorphosis. The adult, in contrast, is an airplane, streamlined, far-ranging, and dependent on precision rather than mass. Evolution has produced two bodies within one lineage that complement rather than resemble each other. The meadow, once dominated by the sounds of feeding larvae, now hosts floating patches of orange drifting from flower to flower. These adults will contribute to the next generation, laying eggs exclusively on milkweed plants to ensure the same toxic inheritance continues. Their migration will lead them toward communal overwintering sites, where millions gather in dense clusters, conserving warmth during the cold months. The cycle that began with a single caterpillar chewing through milkweed now extends across continents. Metamorphosis reveals its purpose not in the elegance of the final form, but in the dramatic shift in life strategy. By turning a ground-bound herbivore into an aerial navigator, nature has equipped monarchs with the flexibility to exploit seasonal abundance while avoiding the constraints of local climates. Their journey, while fragile in appearance, is a testament to biological resilience. Each butterfly that rises into the air carries within it the chemical traces of its former life and the map of a journey it has never flown. In the dim understory of a tropical forest, where sunlight filters down in narrow green shafts and the air carries the damp scent of soil and old bark, a caterpillar rests along the central vein of a broad leaf. Its chunky body, a muted green that mirrors the plant it clings to, blends almost perfectly into the foliage. At first glance, it appears to be nothing more than a thickened midrib, a natural swelling along the leaf structure. Only closer inspection reveals the faint undulation of breathing segments and the subtle twitch of artificial horns on its head, harmless projections that mimic warning signals other insects use in earnest. The caterpillar's strategy is not threat, but deception. Its survival depends on being misread. And in a forest full of sharp-eyed predators, the safest place is not behind armor, but behind illusion. The owl butterfly caterpillar lives in a world of constant scrutiny. Birds comb through foliage with practiced precision. Monkeys pluck leaves in search of hidden protein, and predatory insects patrol silently along branches. In this dense network of watchers, visibility is vulnerability. So the caterpillar shapes its life around stillness. It positions itself along leaf veins rather than across them, aligning its body to match natural patterns. Even its feeding behavior is controlled. It consumes leaves in arcs that resemble natural wear and damage, avoiding the neat crescents that betray the presence of herbivores. Deception becomes not a momentary tactic, but a lifestyle. As days pass and the caterpillar feeds, its body begins to outgrow its skin. Hormonal changes trigger molting, and it steps out of its old exoskeleton with a fresh, slightly larger version beneath. Each stage brings new adjustments in coloration and form, refining its camouflage to match the leaves of the host plant. Some individuals develop faint lines that mimic leaf veins, while others deepen their shades of green to match new growth. This is an adaptive process shaped by natural selection. Only those who blend well enough to avoid predation survive to the next stage. Over generations, these traits accumulate, creating larvae that seem less like insects and more like extensions of the plant. Eventually, feeding slows. The caterpillar's final molt is not toward new mobility, but toward immobility. It selects a sturdy surface, often a tree trunk or thick branch, and anchors itself with silk. Its body slackens. Contractions ripple through its segments, and the skin loosens one last time. What emerges is a pupa, rigid and sealed, attached firmly to the bark. The chrysalis itself is part of the deception. Mottled browns, faint ridges, and irregular patches give it the appearance of a weathered knot or flake of lichen. The pupa does not move, but movement is unnecessary. Its strength lies in invisibility. Predators scan bark for living forms, not for rough, bark-colored contours without visible motion. The forest, relentless and observant, simply passes over it. Inside the pupa, however, stillness does not imply inactivity. Much like other holometabolous insects, the owl butterfly undergoes a complete reorganization. Larval tissues break down in controlled cycles, and clusters of cells long dormant come alive to sculpt the adult form. The chunky body of the caterpillar dissolves as wings begin to form, thin and fragile at first, then more defined. The feeding apparatus shifts from chewing mouthparts designed for heavy consumption of plant matter to a long coiling proboscis specialized for sipping fruit juices. Eyes enlarge, not only growing in size, but also increasing in the number of ommatidia, enabling a broader field of view. Flight muscles assemble around the thorax, preparing the butterfly for a life defined by motion rather than concealment. The transition from larva to adult is not just a transformation of shape, but a transformation of strategy. As a caterpillar, survival depended on erasing its presence. As an adult owl butterfly, survival depends on the opposite, drawing attention at precisely the right moment. When the time comes, the chrysalis begins to darken. The outlines of wings become visible through the thinning surface, and subtle tremors ripple along its length. The casing splits, and a massive butterfly emerges, its wings wet and heavily folded. It climbs upward, clinging tightly as hemolymph is pumped through each wing, stretching them to full size. The transformation reveals an insect far larger than its earlier life stages would suggest. Owl butterflies are among the largest in the Americas, with wingspans that stretch wider than a human hand. In the dim light of twilight, when these giants are most active, their size becomes especially striking. The butterfly's wings, when closed, mimic dead leaves. Shades of brown and tan streak across the surface, creating mottled patterns that blend into the forest's background of bark and undergrowth. This camouflage is not merely decoration, it is a continuation of the larval survival strategy. Remaining unnoticed is still valuable, but the true marvel of the adult's wings only becomes visible when they open. On the underside of each hindwing sits a massive eye spot, complete with concentric rings that resemble the iris and pupil of an owl. These markings are not simple circles, but complex images shaped by evolution to mimic predatory eyes. For smaller animals, birds, rodents, or lizards, the sudden display can be startling. In a moment of attack, the butterfly flashes its wings, turning from an unnoticed leaf into a creature that appears to stare back with the gaze of a larger hunter. The effect is amplified by the butterfly's size. The illusion is psychological warfare, a bluff delivered with such confidence that many predators retreat without testing it. This strategy is not aggressive, it is defensive storytelling. Nature has honed the eye spot to exploit predator cognition. Many animals rely on facial patterns to identify threats. By presenting what looks like the forward-facing eye of a raptor, the butterfly activates instinctive avoidance behaviors. Some predators even freeze, confused by the sudden switch from camouflaged prey to implied predator. The butterfly gains valuable seconds to escape, gliding through the understory on wings broad and soft enough to move silently. The contrast between the pre-adult stages and the adult form reveals an extraordinary shift in ecological roles. The caterpillar is slow and vulnerable, maximizing survival by merging into its surroundings. The pupa relies entirely on stillness and disguise. But the adult embraces visibility when necessary, using moments of dramatic revelation to create opportunities for escape. This transition from invisibility to intimidation mirrors a broader ecological theme. Organisms often change not just in appearance, but in behavioral strategy as they move between developmental stages. Adult owl butterflies are crepuscular, active during the dim hours of dawn and dusk. Their large eyes and sensitive photoreceptors help them navigate low-light environments where predators are less active. Their flight is strong but controlled, suited for weaving between trunks and gliding over forest floor clearings. They feed primarily on fermenting fruits, using their long proboscis to access sugars unavailable to many other insects. This diet supports their large bodies and contributes to the energy reserves required to maintain their flight patterns. Despite their size, owl butterflies remain fragile in other ways. Their wings, though broad, are easily torn by branches or predators. Their reliance on fruit rather than nectar ties them to specific habitats where fallen produce is abundant. And their conspicuous wing patterns, while useful in an emergency, do not protect them from specialized predators that learn to ignore the deception. For these reasons, their success depends on a delicate balance of camouflage, timing, and bluff. When an owl butterfly rests on a trunk, wings closed, it becomes once again a dead leaf. When disturbed, it becomes a pair of enormous staring eyes. Across its entire life cycle, the species demonstrates a mastery of visual manipulation. It survives not through aggression or speed, but through the ability to control how others perceive it. The caterpillar disappears by becoming part of the leaf. The adult survives by becoming something its enemies fear. Across the forest, the interplay of light and shadow supports this evolutionary performance. Each stage, from green larva to bark-colored pupa to giant winged adult, occupies a different visual niche. The transformation is not only physical but psychological, shifting from near-perfect disguise to dramatic spectacle. The owl butterfly proves that survival is as much about influencing the minds of predators as it is about avoiding their teeth and claws. Deep within the forest floor, beneath logs softened by seasons of rain and the slow work of fungi, the cycle of decay becomes a cradle. A fallen tree, long past the point where its bark could shield living tissue, has been transformed into a damp, fibrous world, humming with microorganisms. If the surface is peeled back, a pale shape is revealed, curled into a crescent among the wood pulp. This is the larva of a rhinoceros beetle, a thick white form with a head the color of amber and jaws built for grinding. It moves slowly, pushing its segmented body through the softened interior of the log, carving tunnels through matter that once held the weight of a fully grown tree. Here, in this hidden chamber of decomposition, the larva lives its earliest months. Its diet consists almost entirely of wood that has been partially digested by fungi. These microorganisms break down cellulose and lignin, turning the rigid structure of the tree into something the larva can process. This partnership between decay organisms and larvae reflects an understated ecological truth. The forest recycles itself not through dramatic events, but through countless small interactions between decomposers and the creatures that feed on their work. Rhinoceros beetle larvae are part of that slow but essential chain, converting dead wood into nutrient-rich soil. The larva's appearance suggests softness, yet its head capsule houses powerful muscles. Its mandibles grind methodically, producing fine particles that accumulate behind it in compacted pellets. Feeding continues almost without pause. Growth demands energy, and the larva's life strategy is simple: consume, expand, and prepare for the transformation to come. Unlike predators or agile herbivores, the larva does not need speed or stealth. Its safety lies in isolation. Buried inside decaying logs or underground chambers, it rarely encounters predators equipped to reach it. Even so, danger is never absent. Mammals capable of tearing wood, such as wild pigs, will happily root out the larvae. Parasitic wasps may locate them using vibrations or scent. For this reason, the larva's thick, curved posture helps protect its vulnerable underside, tucking vital organs inward while presenting the harder head surface outward. As weeks pass, the larva sheds its skin multiple times, each molt accommodating the growing body within. Its final larval stage is massive, often outweighing the adult it will become. This imbalance reflects the investment required for metamorphosis. The larva stores vast amounts of energy in the form of fats, preparing for the moment when its entire body structure will be rebuilt. What begins as a simple wood-chewing creature must eventually transform into a powerful beetle capable of flight and combat. When the larva reaches its developmental threshold, feeding begins to slow. It carves a chamber within the soft wood or soil, packing the walls to stabilize the space. This self-made cell becomes the site of pupation, a private workshop where transformation unfolds. Once the chamber is complete, the larva enters a period of stillness. Its skin splits, revealing a pale pupa beneath, a shape that hints at the adult form but remains ghost-like, with soft outlines of wings, legs, and the beginnings of the horn. The pupa resembles a sculpture in progress, a blueprint for the armored insect emerging from within. Inside this casing, tissues reorganize in dramatic fashion. Muscles dissolve and reform, wings develop in protective sheaths, and the iconic horn grows along the head. For males, this structure becomes a defining feature, its size influenced by nutrition, genetics, and the larva's early success in consuming high-quality wood. Hormonal cascades regulate the development of the horn, making it one of the most striking examples of sexual dimorphism in the insect world. Females, by contrast, grow more streamlined forms without the elaborate headgear, focusing on efficiency rather than weaponry. The horn is shaped not for predation but for leverage. Rhinoceros beetles do not hunt with it. They wrestle. Male beetles compete for access to females by engaging in lifting contests. They brace themselves, wedge their horn beneath a rival's body, and attempt to pry him from the tree trunk or branch. The strongest or most skillful male gains mating opportunities. The losers, often thrown from the perch with surprising force, simply climb back and try again. These contests rarely inflict serious injury. Instead, they test strength, stamina, and the precision of the horn's design. Evolution has shaped the structure into a biological crowbar, optimized for generating force while minimizing harm to the opponent. This ensures that males survive to participate in multiple battles and extend their genetic line. Back inside the pupal chamber, time passes in quiet increments. Moisture levels, microbial activity, and surrounding temperature influence the speed of development. When the transformation reaches completion, the adult beetle emerges from the pupa, its exoskeleton still soft and pale. Clinging to the chamber wall, it pumps hemolymph through its body to expand its form. Over hours, the exoskeleton darkens, hardens, and gains the glossy sheen characteristic of rhinoceros beetles. Only when fully armored does the beetle begin to dig its way upward through soil or wood debris, pushing against barriers with calm persistence. Its emergence is powerful but controlled, a stark contrast to the fragility of the moment just before the exoskeleton solidified. Breaking through the surface, the adult rhinoceros beetle appears as a small tank, compact, heavily armored, and equipped with a horn that rises like a curved blade. The beetle's body is supported by strong legs with hooked claws designed for gripping bark and climbing through dense vegetation. Its wings, folded beneath hardened elytra, are capable of lifting the beetle's surprisingly heavy form. Flight is not elegant, but effective. The buzzing hum of a rhinoceros beetle taking off seems disproportionate to its armored body, yet each wing beat is perfectly calibrated to keep the insect airborne long enough to travel between feeding sites or locate mates. The adult diet differs dramatically from the larval one. Instead of consuming wood, the beetle feeds on sap flows, fruit juices, or nectar. Its mouthparts, no longer built for chewing tough fibers, have adapted for softer materials. This dietary shift reduces competition between life stages, allowing larvae and adults to occupy distinct ecological niches. Larvae help break down wood, contributing to decomposition processes, while adults participate in pollination or nutrient cycling through their feeding habits. Night becomes the adult beetle's domain. Under the cover of darkness, it moves through the forest with surprising agility, climbing trunks and navigating branches. The horn, so prominent on the male's head, plays little role outside of combat. It is not used for digging, feeding, or defense against predators. Instead, it stands as a symbol of reproductive strategy, a costly but effective investment for winning mates. Females, driven by their own role in the life cycle, evaluate males not by the beauty of their horn, but by the strength demonstrated in their battles. In this way, the horn acts as both tool and advertisement. Predators remain a risk. Owls, mammals, and even larger insects may attempt to seize the beetle, yet its armor provides substantial protection. The exoskeleton is one of the thickest among insects, with layered cuticle that resists puncture and distributes force. While not invincible, the beetle is remarkably resilient. Many predators abandon an attack out of frustration, choosing easier prey. The contrast between life stages is stark. The larva, soft-bodied and hidden, invests in growth and resource accumulation. The pupa transforms silently, shaping the adult features within a sheltered chamber. The adult emerges strong, armored, and ready for competition. Only in this final form does the beetle carry the horn that defines its species in the human imagination. Metamorphosis has equipped the insect with stage-specific bodies tailored to each phase of its ecological role. As dawn breaks over the forest and warm air begins to rise, the beetle retreats once more into shaded spaces. The rotting log that once housed its larval form now contains new tunnels, ready for future generations. The cycle continues, each stage revealing a different facet of a creature that shifts from hidden decomposer to armored contender. The rhinoceros beetle's life is a testament to nature's ability to specialize, to split one existence into multiple forms, each designed with precision for the challenges it must face. Inside the heart of a fallen branch, where sunlight cannot reach and the air lies still as packed dust, a narrow tunnel curves through the wood. Its walls are smooth, polished not by wind or water, but by the patient abrasion of a single larva. The longhorn beetle larva, pale and cylindrical, presses its body forward with a slow, deliberate motion, its mandibles biting into dead fibers with each advance. To an outside observer, the process might seem glacial, but within this enclosed world, the larva's steady rhythm shapes the future of the forest as surely as weather or time. Every chewed particle, every compressed pellet of frass, is part of a continuous cycle in which beetles return nutrients to the soil by dismantling wood from within. The larva's body is built for this subterranean lifestyle. Thick, muscular segments move independently, gripping the tunnel walls with small, hardened pads that allow it to push or twist as needed. Its head, reinforced with a darkened capsule of chitin, houses the powerful musculature required to operate its chewing mouthparts. Unlike the rhinoceros beetle larva, which feeds on wood softened by fungi, the longhorn beetle larva often tackles tougher substrates, boring through wood that may still retain significant structural integrity. This requires not only strength, but endurance. The larva may live within a single branch or log for months or even years, depending on species and conditions, consuming the material around it with little deviation from its narrow routine. In this hidden realm, predators are scarce. The wood provides a physical barrier far more effective than armor or speed. Yet this protection comes with limitations. By tying its early life to a single resource, the larva becomes dependent on the condition and availability of dead or dying wood. If the branch falls in an unfavorable environment, such as one prone to flooding or intense microbial decay, the larva may perish before completing its development. This reliance turns wood selection into a significant evolutionary factor. Adult females must choose sites carefully, laying eggs on surfaces that will remain stable long enough for their offspring to complete their long development cycle. The larva's progress through the wood creates a winding, purposeful pattern. These tunnels are not random. They reflect both the larva's need for nourishment and the structural constraints of the wood. When the larva encounters dense knots or resin pockets, it adjusts its path, curving around obstacles or digging deeper. Each segment of the tunnel serves as both shelter and pantry, a living corridor carved one mouthful at a time. As the larva grows, it expands the diameter of its tunnel, ensuring enough space to move freely. Occasionally it reverses direction, compacting frass behind it or clearing obstructions, demonstrating a degree of spatial awareness within its confined environment. Though isolated, the larva remains connected to the outside world through vibrations. The wood acts as a conductor, transmitting the drumming of woodpeckers, the scratching of scavengers, and even the distant hum of insects. These signals influence the larva's behavior. Sharp, irregular vibrations may trigger periods of stillness, reducing the chances of detection by predators capable of extracting it from the wood. This sensitivity reflects a broader biological truth. Even creatures that spend their early lives in near-complete darkness evolve senses attuned to the threats and opportunities of their environment. As development progresses, internal changes begin to prepare the larva for metamorphosis. It carves a final chamber deeper within the wood, often oriented vertically to accommodate the shape of the emerging adult. The chamber is larger than the tunnels it has dug, allowing room for transformation. Here the larva becomes motionless, its body softening slightly as it prepares to molt into a pupa. The shift is profound. Organs rearrange, muscles break down and reform, and new structures begin to emerge. Among these, the most striking are the antennae, long, delicate, and folded tightly against the developing adult's body. These antennae, which will eventually distinguish the adult longhorn beetle, contain an extraordinary number of sensory receptors. Chemoreceptors detect pheromones from potential mates, while mechanoreceptors read subtle vibrations in the environment. During pupation, the insect invests heavily in these structures, allocating resources to ensure they become fully functional before emergence. The antennae will later extend well beyond the body length in many species, serving as mobile sensory probes capable of detecting signals far beyond the reach of ordinary insect senses. After a period of internal reorganization, the pupa darkens. External features become defined: the segmented legs, the elytra protecting the flight wings beneath, and the elongated antennae, which now stretch along the pupa's form like taut lines waiting to unfurl. When the adult is ready, the pupal skin splits, and the beetle emerges pale and soft. Its antennae unfold slowly, revealing their full length. The beetle rests within its chamber until its exoskeleton hardens and its coloration deepens into browns, blacks, or patterned hues depending on species. Only then does it begin to chew its way out of the wood, creating an exit hole that marks the completion of its metamorphic journey. When the adult longhorn beetle finally enters open air, it emerges into a world filled with signals that were once muffled or filtered through wood. The forest becomes a complex interplay of scents, vibrations, and shifting air currents. Its antennae sweep outward, moving with a constant exploratory rhythm. These structures operate like biological radar poles, sampling the environment for traces of mates, host plants, and potential threats. Each segment of the antenna contains specialized receptors, allowing the beetle to detect pheromones at astonishingly low concentrations. The ability to sense chemically distant signals compensates for the fact that adults often have short lifespans and must locate partners quickly to reproduce successfully. The adult's diet contrasts sharply with the larva's. While the larva consume the interior of wood, the adult typically feeds on nectar, sap, or the tender bark of twigs. Some species may not feed at all, living only long enough to reproduce. This divergence in diet reduces pressure on shared resources and allows the species to occupy multiple roles within the ecosystem. Adults contribute to pollination or sap cycling, while larvae aid in decomposition and nutrient turnover. Through metamorphosis, a single genetic lineage performs distinct ecological functions across its life stages, maximizing its impact on forest health. With long antennae guiding its movements, the beetle becomes a roaming explorer. It navigates through forest canopies or low vegetation, using its antennae to maintain spatial awareness. The vibration receptors help it detect the wing beats of predators such as bats, while chemical cues reveal the presence of freshly dead or dying wood suitable for egg-laying. The adult's search behavior reflects a delicate balance between opportunity and risk. Too much wandering exposes it to predation, but insufficient exploration reduces reproductive success. Mating involves a complex exchange of chemical signals. Females release pheromones that drift through the forest, forming invisible trails that males follow. The male's antennae detect these cues from considerable distances, allowing him to locate a potential mate even in dense vegetation. Once he arrives, the intricate movements of antennae communicate readiness and assess compatibility. This tactile communication is subtle but essential. The antennae serve as both sensors and social tools, shaping interactions that determine the next generation's success. The contrast between the larval and adult stages could not be more pronounced. The larva navigates enclosed tunnels with no need for long-range senses. It lives in stillness, protected by the wood it feeds on. The adult, by comparison, must survey open spaces, interpret chemical gradients, and respond quickly to environmental cues. Its elongated antennae represent an evolutionary innovation that transforms the species from an isolated miner into a mobile sensor array, capable of detecting information that most insects never perceive. This adaptation highlights the versatility of metamorphosis. It allows one organism to adopt entirely different ecological strategies during its lifetime. As evening light dims and the forest transitions to night, adult longhorn beetles become more active. Many species are drawn to moonlit clearings or the faint glow of artificial lights, mistaking certain wavelengths for the gleam of open space. Their flight is surprisingly strong, considering the length of their antennae, which trail behind in graceful arcs. Yet even in flight, the antennae remain vigilant, responding to air currents and chemical traces carried on the wind. In the end, the longhorn beetle's life is a study in dual specialization. As a larva, it is an engineer of decay, shaping wood from the inside out. As an adult, it becomes a navigator, relying on extended sensory apparatus to find mates and suitable habitats. Its metamorphosis reveals not just a change in form, but a shift in ecological purpose. Within a single lifetime, the beetle transforms from hidden miner to roaming radar station, embodying the remarkable flexibility of insect evolution. Morning light spills across a meadow still wet with dew, and on the surface of a trembling leaf, a creature patrols its territory with the confidence of a practiced hunter. It is long, spiny, and dark, patched with streaks of orange that look more like warning flags than decoration. At first glance, it resembles a miniature alligator, the kind sculpted by a child imagining prehistoric beasts. This is the larva of a ladybug, an insect whose adult reputation as a harmless, cheerful garden visitor could not be further removed from the reality of its early life. Here, on a fragile stem barely able to hold its weight, moves one of the most efficient aphid killers in the insect world. The larva's body is built for predation. Its elongated shape allows it to sweep across plant surfaces with surprising reach, while its spines add a measure of deterrence against would-be predators. Each segment houses muscles that propel it in quick bursts, allowing it to seize prey before the victim can react. Its mandibles, sharp and hooked, pierce aphids with the precision of surgical tools. When it encounters a cluster of soft-bodied insects feeding along a leaf vein, it moves through them like a storm. Aphids that escape the first strike often fall victim moments later, pulled backwards by the larva's sudden lunges. This voraciousness is not reckless. It is necessity. The larva's life operates under a biological timer, one dictated not by seasons, but by internal developmental thresholds. Every aphid consumed becomes fuel for transformation, raw material that will be reorganized into the adult form. As the larva grows, its appetite increases. Entire colonies of aphids may vanish within hours, leaving behind only the honeydew droplets they secreted moments before their demise. Gardeners celebrate ladybugs for precisely this behavior, but the larval stage performs the bulk of the labor, functioning as a mobile population control unit for the plants it patrols. Aphids themselves create the conditions that support their own destruction. By clustering densely on tender growth, they form predictable foraging sites. They reproduce rapidly, often giving birth to live young, allowing a single plant to host thousands within a short time. For the larva, this abundance transforms the landscape into a series of well-stocked hunting grounds. It moves with intention, following trails of chemical cues left behind by struggling aphids or by the honeydew that coats the leaves beneath them. These cues reveal not just the presence of prey, but their density and activity level, guiding the larva toward the richest feeding zones. Predators occasionally challenge the larva, spiders, lacewing larvae, and small birds among them. But its spined body and erratic movements offer modest protection. More importantly, the larva rarely lingers in exposed locations. It is always in motion, shifting across leaves and stems with the restless drive of an organism that knows it must accumulate enough resources before the next phase of its transformation. Its coloration provides subtle camouflage among the mottled greens and shadows of foliage, though this concealment is secondary to the sheer pace of its lifestyle. A predator must notice the larva and strike quickly, or risk losing sight of it entirely. As days pass and the larva reaches the end of its developmental capacity, feeding slows. The body swells slightly, signaling that the final molt approaches. Unlike the earlier molts, where the larva merely sheds a too tight exoskeleton and emerges as a larger version of itself, this next stage represents a deeper change. It seeks a secure surface, often the underside of a leaf or a sheltered stem, and anchors itself using the sticky pads at the tip of its abdomen. The position is firm and unmoving, a stark contrast to the agile predator it was moments before. The larval skin begins to loosen, and through a series of controlled contractions, the larva shrugs the exterior layer upward, revealing a pupa beneath. The transformation happens quietly, and perhaps surprisingly, without the smooth elegance seen in butterfly chrysalises. The ladybug pupa appears both alien and unfinished, a segmented immobile form mottled with patches of yellow and black. It clings to the surface rigidly, with no obvious sign of the beetle taking shape inside. But beneath this still exterior lies a profound internal reorganization. Within the pupa, the larval tissues begin to disassemble. Muscles dissolve, digestive systems shift, and structural components are repurposed. Imaginal discs, clusters of cells that remain dormant during the larval stage, now activate to construct the adult body. They form wings, elytra, antennae, and the rounded shape that will soon define the ladybug's new identity. This process is energetically expensive, relying entirely on the reserves built from the larva's weeks of relentless hunting. The aphids consumed earlier become, quite literally, the building blocks of the adult form. The creature that emerges will fly, mate, and feed in ways that the larva never could. As the pupa nears its completion, its coloration darkens. Subtle movements ripple across its surface, revealing signs of life for the first time since pupation began. Then, in a moment that seems almost quiet enough to miss, the casing splits. A soft, pale adult pulls itself free, its body a gentle yellow, rather than the vibrant red expected of a ladybug. The elytra, the hardened wing covers, are flexible and damp, molded into place as the beetle steadies itself. Hemolymph flows into the wings beneath, inflating them before they fold and settle under the forming shell. At this stage, the adult is vulnerable. Its soft exoskeleton offers little defense, and its light coloration makes it stand out against foliage. For several hours, sometimes longer depending on temperature and humidity, the ladybug remains motionless as the exoskeleton hardens. During this period, the pigments begin to develop. Red deepens across the elytra, and black spots emerge in their familiar configuration. These spots vary from individual to individual. Some ladybugs bear many, others few, and in certain species, the patterns serve as cues for mate selection or species recognition. The striking coloration is not just aesthetic. The red and black combination acts as a warning signal, advertising the presence of chemical defenses. Ladybugs secrete alkaloid compounds from their leg joints when threatened, substances that create an unpleasant taste and scent for predators. Birds quickly learn to avoid them, remembering the bitter encounter long after. This defensive strategy is the adult parallel to the larva's spines and deceptive mobility. Each stage employs a different survival mechanism, shaped by the unique pressures of its ecological niche. As the adult begins to explore its surroundings, it moves with an entirely new grace. Its round, compact body is supported by lighter, more agile legs than those of the larva. Its wings open in smooth arcs, revealing the soft flight membranes beneath the protective elytra. When it takes off, the movement seems almost accidental, a gentle lift propelled by efficient wing beats. The ladybug is now a roaming hunter once again, but its methods differ. It still feeds on aphids, but its search extends over larger distances thanks to flight. As an adult, it becomes part of a broader network of predators, regulating populations across an entire habitat rather than a single plant. This dual nature, cute in appearance, lethal in behavior, has shaped the ladybug's cultural image. Children's toys portray it as harmless and cheerful, yet its life story reveals a more complex reality. The charming beetle that lands gently on a fingertip is the culmination of a developmental journey powered by relentless predation and dramatic metamorphosis. The adult form is built by the larva's appetite, its strength borrowed from countless aphids that fueled its transformation. Even its behavior reflects this duality. When disturbed, the ladybug may tuck its legs beneath its body and feign death, playing into its perceived harmlessness. But if pressed further, it deploys its chemical defenses, reminding predators that its bright colors signal more than visual appeal. The contrast between outward innocence and underlying predatory efficiency makes the ladybug one of the most deceptively complex transformations in the insect world. Across the meadow, the newly hardened adult joins others in the patchwork of leaves. Together, they form small aggregations, drawn by the same aphid trails that once guided them as larvae. Their presence influences plant health, predator-prey dynamics, and even the behavior of other insects that share the same habitat. Over time, the cycle repeats. Eggs are laid, larvae hatch, and a new generation of alligator-shaped hunters begins its march across the leaves, preparing unknowingly to build the next cohort of red-shelled adults. The ladybug's story is not one of beauty alone, but of transformation shaped by necessity. It is the tale of a creature that begins life as a fierce predator and ends it as a symbol of charm. Yet beneath the bright colors lies the memory of its earlier form. A reminder that all metamorphosis is built upon what came before. Along the edges of a warm, humid clearing where sunlight filters through layered canopies in shifting orange sheets, a caterpillar moves with slow certainty across the surface of its host plant. Its body is a striking tapestry of black and vivid orange, the colors broken by rows of long, rigid spines that jut outward in all directions. Unlike the gentle green larvae that rely on invisibility, this creature announces its presence with unapologetic boldness. It is a leopard lacewing caterpillar, and everything about its form communicates a warning. The spines, embedded with defensive compounds, make it a risky target for most predators. Birds that consider taking a bite retreat after just one inspection, deterred by the caterpillar's sharp silhouette and the chemical consequences that follow an ill-advised attempt at predation. The caterpillar's bright coloration reflects an evolutionary investment in what biologists call aposematism, the practice of advertising danger rather than hiding from it. This strategy shifts the burden of survival away from camouflage and toward deterrence. The spines do not merely offer physical protection, they also facilitate the delivery of toxins that seep into a predator's mouth or digestive system, creating rapid conditioning that discourages future attacks. Over generations, this system fine-tunes itself. Individuals with more effective spines and bolder coloration survive at higher rates, pushing the species toward increasing visual and chemical clarity. The message becomes unmistakable. This is not a creature to be eaten. Despite these advantages, the caterpillar's world remains a challenging one. Predators that hunt by stealth or speed, such as certain wasps, may still attempt to pierce the larval cuticle with precision, injecting eggs or venom before the spines fully repel the threat. In these moments, the caterpillar's only recourse is motion. It thrashes violently, attempting to dislodge attackers while gripping the leaf with powerful prolegs. This capacity for sudden movement underlines a broader ecological truth. Even organisms well protected by armor or toxins must remain active participants in their survival. No defense is absolute. The caterpillar's feeding behavior reflects both purpose and limitation. It consumes leaves quickly, cutting across the surface in neat arcs. The host plants, often species within the passionflower family, produce their own defensive chemicals, compounds that the caterpillar must navigate carefully. Over evolutionary time, the lacewing lineage developed the ability to tolerate or even sequester these chemicals, turning them into internal stores of protection. The larva's physiology processes the compounds without harm, allowing their toxic signatures to accumulate. This chemical inheritance will eventually be passed to the adult, becoming part of the butterfly's defensive repertoire. As the larval stage progresses, the caterpillar undergoes several molts. Each time it sheds its skin, the spines become more defined, the coloration deepens, and the body expands. Growth is not merely physical, it is biochemical. Every leaf consumed contributes to the energy reserves that will later fuel metamorphosis. The larva behaves with increasing urgency, feeding more frequently and pausing only to rest long enough to process nutrients. This intense consumption reflects the biological reality that metamorphosis demands significant fuel. The adult form, with its delicate wings and sharp sensory capabilities, is built from the tissues broken down and reassembled within the pupal chamber. When the caterpillar reaches its final larval size, it begins a new search. Not for food, but for a secure place to transform. It moves beneath a broad leaf, selecting a shaded location protected from direct sunlight and rainfall. Once the site is chosen, it attaches itself with a silk thread and hangs downward. The spined body becomes still, and within hours the larval skin loosens. A series of rhythmic contractions begins, and the outer layer splits, revealing a chrysalis beneath that bears little resemblance to the creature it replaces. The leopard lacewing pupa is an object of quiet complexity. Suspended beneath the leaf, it sways gently with the wind, its surface a mix of muted browns, tans, and occasional metallic spots. These reflective patches catch stray beams of sunlight, creating the illusion of dew droplets or flecks of mineral. In this stage, the insect relies not on spines or toxins, but on visual misdirection. The mottled exterior helps the pupa blend into its chosen backdrop. Predators scanning for larvae or moving insects often overlook its static shape. The chrysalis invokes the strategies of camouflage the larva never needed, demonstrating how life stages may diverge wildly in their approaches to survival. Inside the pupa, transformation unfolds with remarkable coordination. The larval tissues break down through a process not unlike controlled digestion, releasing nutrients that fuel the construction of the adult butterfly. Imaginal discs, previously dormant cell clusters, expand and differentiate into wings, antennae, compound eyes, and flight muscles. The wing scales develop their future patterns, laying down pigments that will later shimmer in the sun. Structures essential for adult behavior, including chemoreceptors, proboscis components, and flexible joints, assemble with exacting precision. The process reveals a fundamental advantage of complete metamorphosis, the ability to reorganize an organism entirely, allowing different life stages to occupy drastically different ecological roles. As days pass, subtle changes signal the nearing completion of development. The chrysalis darkens, and the outline of the wings becomes visible beneath the thinning exterior. Finally, under the steady humidity of a morning, the casing splits. The adult butterfly emerges slowly, its wings folded, soft, and small. It grips the empty chrysalis, allowing gravity to assist as hemolymph flows into the wing veins. Over time, the wings expand to their full shape, revealing jagged edges outlined in black, filled with brilliant streaks of orange, white, and amber. These patterns, reminiscent of leopard markings, give the species its name. Unlike the caterpillar, which relied on brute defenses, the adult employs a combination of agility and visual signaling. The bright coloration serves as a warning, declaring that the butterfly carries chemical defenses developed in its larval stage. Birds that sample one quickly learn to avoid them, making the bold markings an effective deterrent. Yet the adult does not rely solely on chemical protection. Its wings are shaped for quick bursts of flight, allowing it to dodge predators with unexpected acceleration. The jagged outlines of the wings also break up its silhouette during flight, making it harder for predators to track. The adult's diet changes dramatically from its larval counterpart. Instead of consuming leaves, the butterfly feeds on nectar, drawing sugary liquid from flowers using its coiled proboscis. This shift allows the species to contribute to pollination, forming new ecological connections beyond those of its earlier life stage. The adult's movements become part of a broader network of plant-insect relationships that influence reproductive success across the forest. Its sensory adaptations, including compound eyes tuned to detect specific wavelengths, guide it to flowers rich in nectar, ensuring efficient energy intake to sustain flight and reproduction. The contrast between stages becomes clear when observing the butterfly in motion. Where the caterpillar dominated its immediate leaf with stubborn determination, the adult moves with lightness. It navigates open air, weaving between shafts of sunlight, adjusting its flight pattern with minute shifts of wing position. This aerial agility is essential for locating mates, avoiding predators, and finding suitable sites for egg-laying. Females search for the same passionflower species they once fed upon, ensuring that their offspring inherit the chemical protections that define the lineage. The adult's beauty, celebrated by observers, conceals its relentless pragmatism. Every color and marking serves a purpose. The bright patches announce its toxicity, while aiding species recognition. The wing shape improves maneuverability. Even the textured edges, which give the wings their lace-like appearance, offer aerodynamic benefits. What appears delicate is carefully engineered, the culmination of a life shaped by two very different modes of survival. In the end, the leopard lacewings transformation represents an evolutionary balance between brute force and strategic elegance. The caterpillar survives by occupying its host plant boldly, armed with spines and toxins that discourage most encounters. The adult survives by moving quickly, signaling danger through vivid coloration and exploiting the advantages of flight. Both forms are effective, but in different ways. Metamorphosis allows the species to shift between strategies seamlessly, optimizing its success across multiple ecological roles. When the butterfly finally leaves the leaf where its chrysalis hangs, it enters the forest canopy with wings now fully hardened. Each beat sends flashes of color through the understory, a neon blade weaving through green. The creature that once crawled heavily across a plant now glides with precision, its earlier defenses replaced with agility and warning displays. The transformation completes a story written not in softness or fragility, but in the adaptability that allows an organism to thrive through radically different designs within a single lifetime. In the soft green dimness of a herb-filled meadow, a thick-bodied caterpillar moves along the underside of a leaf with the slow assurance of a creature that trusts its camouflage. Its body is a smooth gradient of greens, interrupted only by faint diagonal stripes and a single curved horn protruding from its final abdominal segment. To a casual observer, this horned worm resembles a fragment of stem or the swelling of young foliage. This is the larval form of the hummingbird hawk-moth, a creature that begins its life concealed within the architecture of plants before transforming into one of nature's most uncanny aerial mimics. For now, though, its world is simple. Eat, hide, and build the reserves it will one day burn through at incredible speed. The caterpillar's diet centers on the leaves of bedstraws or honeysuckles, which it consumes with a deliberate, grinding efficiency. Unlike the spined or chemically defended larvae of certain other species, this caterpillar relies more on blending in than on deterring predators. Its coloration adapts subtly to the light conditions of its environment, often deepening when shaded or brightening under direct sun. The tail horn, while intimidating in appearance, is not a true weapon. Instead, it functions as a visual signal that confuses predators by drawing attention away from the more vulnerable head. Birds accustomed to targeting the anterior segment of caterpillars may strike the wrong end, giving the larva a narrow window in which to drop or twist away. Despite this adaptive visual strategy, the caterpillar's life is a vulnerable one. Parasitic wasps probe leaves in search of concealed larvae, and spiders wait silently along stems that form natural passages for crawling insects. Even small mammals may browse the vegetation, inadvertently swallowing the caterpillar along with the foliage. Survival depends largely on the ability to remain inconspicuous. When threatened, the larva contracts its body, pulling in its head and stiffening the tail horn to maintain the illusion of an inert plant part. Such behavioral adaptations complement its physical camouflage, forming a layered defense that increases the odds of reaching the next stage in its life cycle. As the caterpillar feeds, its tissues accumulate stored energy in the form of lipids and proteins, preparing for the metabolically expensive process of metamorphosis. Growth unfolds through a series of molts, each stage revealing an increasingly robust larva capable of consuming larger quantities of plant matter. In later instars, its green coloration may shift toward brown, especially in individuals preparing to descend from the host plant to pupate. This change mirrors the colors of soil and leaf litter, enabling the larva to blend into the ground layer during one of the most exposed moments of its life. When the time for transformation arrives, the caterpillar abandons the safety of the plant and moves to the forest floor or meadow edge, searching for soft soil or a pocket within decaying leaves. Unlike butterflies that suspend themselves from foliage, the hummingbird hawk-moth creates a pupation chamber below the surface. It burrows slightly, then forms a loose cocoon of soil particles held together by silk. Within this chamber, the larval skin splits once more, revealing a smooth brown pupa with a distinctive projection that encases the developing proboscis. an early indicator of the nectar-feeding lifestyle to come. The pupa appears inert, but internal processes operate with precise coordination. Larval tissues break down into a nutrient-rich medium that fuels the formation of adult structures. Flight muscles form around the thoracic region, developing into one of the most powerful muscle groups found in any insect of comparable size. Wings grow within protective sheaths, their veins forming scaffolds for membranes capable of rapid oscillation. Sensory systems undergo equally dramatic shifts. The simple eyes of the larva give way to large compound eyes, optimized for detecting both motion and color gradients in low and high light conditions. Antennae elongate into feathery or filamentous structures tuned to detect floral scents and potential mates. The proboscis coils neatly, ready to extend into deep flowers inaccessible to many other insects. One of the most impressive adaptations forming inside the pupa is the moth's flight apparatus. The hummingbird hawk-moth will eventually achieve wing beat frequencies high enough to produce a soft, continuous hum, a sound that often leads humans to mistake it for an actual hummingbird. This capability demands not just strong flight muscles, but also precise neural control, enabling instant adjustments to wing angle, thoracic rotation, and hovering stability. Unlike many moths that rely on gliding or erratic flight, this species specializes in hovering, directional control, and sustained rapid motion. When the adult finally emerges from the pupa, it crawls upward through the soil, its wings still soft and folded tightly against its body. As hemolymph flows through the veins, the wings broaden and harden, revealing patterns of rust, cream, and gray that blend into rocky surfaces and tree trunks. The moth rests briefly, allowing its body temperature to rise. Thermoregulation is a critical aspect of its behavior because the adult cannot hover effectively when cold. It often performs rapid muscle vibrations to generate heat before takeoff. These vibrations act like a natural warm-up routine, preparing the thoracic muscles to sustain the demanding wing beats required for flight. Once airborne, the transformation appears absolute. The creature that once moved slowly along leaves now accelerates with the speed of a small bird. It hovers in front of flowers, its wings beating so rapidly they blur into transparent discs. The long proboscis unfurls with precision, probing deep into floral tubes to extract nectar. This feeding technique resembles that of a hummingbird, so closely that observers often report seeing a tiny bird rather than a moth. The hovering flight, the audible hum, and the darting movements all contribute to the illusion. But the moth is performing a role no hummingbird can replicate perfectly. It flies at dusk and dawn, exploiting floral resources when birds are less active. Its ability to home in on pale or scented flowers allows it to feed in low-light conditions where avian competitors cannot operate effectively. The adult's agility also provides a form of predator evasion. Birds attempting to catch the moth must contend with its rapid acceleration and unpredictable directional changes. Hovering in place, then suddenly reversing or pivoting sideways, gives the moth an advantage that few predators can reliably counter. Even bats, which rely on echolocation, struggle to track the moth when it performs erratic evasive maneuvers. This combination of speed, sensory acuity, and flight control demonstrates a different kind of survival strategy than the larva's reliance on concealment. Metamorphosis has retooled the organism entirely, enabling it to function in a new ecological niche with new methods of defense and exploration. The adult moth's lifestyle revolves around nectar gathering and reproduction. Its sensory adaptations guide it towards suitable flowers, while its coloration helps it blend into bark or rocks during daytime rest. Though hawk moths are generally robust flyers, their adult lives are relatively short, placing pressure on them to locate mates and lay eggs efficiently. Females deposit eggs on the same types of host plants the larvae depend upon, ensuring the cycle continues. The horned caterpillars that emerge will follow the same path, repeating the quiet, hidden phase that supports the spectacular adult form. What makes the hummingbird hawk moth remarkable is not merely its resemblance to a bird, but the way its metamorphosis elevates this mimicry into an ecological role. It becomes a high-speed pollinator capable of accessing flowers that many insects cannot. It exploits gaps in the daily activity rhythms of other nectar feeders. It navigates landscapes using a combination of visual cues and scent trails, that guide it with near-surgical precision. And it achieves all of this by reshaping its body from a slow-moving leaf consumer into an agile, aerodynamic nectar thief. The transformation underscores a broader truth about insect evolution. Complete metamorphosis allows organisms to occupy entirely different worlds within a single lifetime. The caterpillar's existence is defined by caution and consumption. The adult's existence is defined by movement, precision, and speed. Between them lies a pupal stage in which an organism deconstructs itself and rebuilds into a form capable of behaviors so distinct that even humans misidentify it. As dusk settles over the meadow, the hummingbird hawk-moth hovers in front of a cluster of flowers glowing faintly in the fading light. Its wings hum, its proboscis reaches, and its body holds perfectly in place, supported by an invisible rhythm of rapid wing beats. The creature that once blended quietly into leaves now moves like a jet-propelled acrobat, proving that metamorphosis does far more than alter appearance. It rewrites an entire way of life. On the forest floor of Madagascar, where leaf litter forms a layered archive of past seasons, and humidity hangs in the air like a warm veil, something pale shifts among the debris. It looks almost spectral, a soft, white shape emerging from the rigid outline of a darker shell. For a moment it seems as if the forest has produced a ghost. But this apparition is alive, breathing, and in the midst of one of the most essential and vulnerable events in an insect's life. A Madagascar hissing cockroach, freshly molted, stands beside the shed husk of its former self, its body swollen and fragile as the world around it continues without pause. Molting is a natural consequence of an exoskeleton, an architectural choice evolution made long before this species existed. An insect's outer shell cannot stretch, so growth requires periodic shedding. For the Madagascar cockroach, each molt is a carefully timed recalibration of its entire structure. The pale body we see is not unfinished. It is expanding, drawing in air to stretch the new integument before it hardens. This temporary inflation creates space for the next stage of life. But until the cuticle darkens and stiffens, the cockroach lacks the protection that normally makes it resistant to crushing jaws, probing beaks, or abrasive surfaces. In these minutes, sometimes stretching into an hour, the insect lives in a paradox. Growth demands vulnerability. The fresh exoskeleton is almost translucent, a stark contrast to the rich browns and blacks of the fully hardened adult. Its softness allows microscopic ridges and plates to settle into proper alignment. Even the spiracles, the small openings along the body that allow gas exchange, appear more prominent against the pale background, pulsing gently as the cockroach adjusts to its new dimensions. In this ghost-like state, it becomes a different creature entirely. Movement slow, legs tremble slightly under the unfamiliar weight distribution, and the normal defensive posture disappears. The insect must rely on stillness and concealment to survive the brief window before its armor sets. In the dim light of dusk, predators rarely notice such delicate moments. The cockroach often seeks shelter beneath logs or between layers of loose bark before initiating a molt, reducing the risk of exposure. Molting is governed by hormonal cycles that align with environmental conditions. Humidity, temperature, and nutritional state all influence the timing. If the forest floor is too dry, the new exoskeleton may harden improperly. If temperatures drop, the process slows, prolonging vulnerability. The cockroach is attuned to these cues, choosing its moment with a precision refined through countless generations. As time-lapse would reveal, the soft white cuticle undergoes a steady transformation. Pale cream deepens into warm amber, and the first hints of dark pigmentation spread across the plates of the thorax and abdomen. Sclerotization, the chemical process that hardens the exoskeleton, progresses from the outer layers inward, forming a protective lattice of cross-linked proteins. This biological armor resists compression and abrasion while maintaining the flexibility required for movement. What begins as a ghost becomes a creature built for survival on a forest floor, crowded with competition, predators, and abrasive terrain. For the Madagascar hissing cockroach, this resetting of armor happens not once, but repeatedly throughout its life. Unlike many insects that molt only during juvenile stages, these cockroaches continue to shed their exoskeleton into adulthood. Each molt provides a chance to repair damage. Scratches, dents, and missing spines vanish with the discarded shell, replaced by fresh, unblemished plates. Adults grow incrementally larger, their size increasing not through continuous expansion, but through a staircase of resets, each molt marking a step toward their final form. This stepwise growth reveals an evolutionary strategy well suited to creatures that must navigate tight crevices and endure physical strain. The cockroach's environment is a shifting maze of decaying matter, branches falling, bark peeling, soil shifting. Flexible joints and strong plates allow it to wedge into narrow spaces, secure footing on uneven surfaces, and withstand compression from above. But even the best exoskeleton accumulates wear over time. Molting gives the insect a way to shed accumulated damage, emerging renewed, polished, and structurally sound once more. It is, in effect, a system of biological maintenance built directly into the life cycle. The hissing cockroach's celebrated ability to hiss, produced by expelling air through modified spiracles, remains effective even during vulnerable post-molt stages, though the insect rarely uses it then. The sound serves multiple functions: startling predators, communicating during dominance contests, and signaling during courtship. This versatility reflects the cockroach's broader ecological role. Far from being a simple scavenger, it participates actively in nutrient cycling, breaking down decaying vegetation and contributing to soil enrichment. Its robust physiology allows it to feed on a wide range of organic matter, making it a key intermediary in decomposition pathways. As the newly molted cockroach continues to harden, the contrasting textures of its body become more apparent. The pronotum, the shield-like plate covering the thorax, darkens first, forming a protective dome that deflects blows and shields vital organs. The segmental plates along the abdomen deepen in color, and the legs take on a firm rigidity that improves traction. Even the small sensory hairs covering the body, essential for detecting vibrations and air currents, regain their structural resilience. The transformation is not cosmetic, but functional, a recalibration of the cockroach's interaction with its environment. Predators, including rodents, reptiles, and birds, may still challenge a fully hardened adult. Yet the cockroach's armor, combined with its low center of gravity and powerful legs, gives it surprising leverage. When threatened, it braces itself, pushes against the ground, and uses its broad, rounded body to slip free of grasping claws or beaks. The hissing adds an auditory component to this defense, creating a burst of sound from a creature that otherwise moves with quiet certainty. For many predators, the combination of unexpected noise and slippery escape is enough to encourage them to seek easier prey. Over its lifetime, the Madagascar hissing cockroach undergoes numerous molts, each one marking a transition rather than an endpoint. Juveniles, known as nymphs, resemble miniature adults but lack fully formed respiratory structures for hissing. With every molt, these structures become more pronounced, along with improvements in coloration, patterning, and body robustness. By the time the insect reaches full maturity, it has honed both its physical defenses and its communicative capabilities. These molts also create opportunities for subtle shifts in social behavior. In the crowded environments where these cockroaches thrive, establishing dominance or securing mates depends partly on physical condition. A recent molt reveals an individual at its most vulnerable, but once the exoskeleton hardens, it may emerge larger and more imposing than before, shifting the balance in its favor. Size influences success in contests for territory or mates, and because growth is incremental, each molt has the potential to reshape the social hierarchy. In the broader ecological context, the cockroach's molting strategy contributes to the stability of its population. By distributing molts throughout the lifespan, rather than restricting them solely to early development, the species maintains a flexible response to environmental pressures. A damaged individual can recover. A growing population can accommodate variance in food availability by slowing or hastening molts depending on nutritional levels. The forest ecosystem, in turn, benefits from the cockroach's consistent role in decomposition, regardless of individual life stage. When viewed as a time-lapse sequence, the life of a Madagascar hissing cockroach becomes a rhythmic alternation between ghostly vulnerability and armored strength. The pale, soft-bodied creature that emerges from each molt is not a weakness in the species' design, but a testament to its adaptability. Growth demands exposure, yet exposure is brief. Hardening restores resilience. Each cycle builds upon the last, producing an organism capable of enduring pressures both physical and ecological. As night settles over Madagascar's forest floor and the newly hardened cockroach resumes its steady exploration of leaf litter, the discarded shell lies behind, an empty silhouette marking another completed transformation. The insect moves forward, its armor reset, its body calibrated for the challenges ahead. It is not a ghost anymore, but a survivor, built through a lifetime of shedding and renewal. Before dawn settles fully over the forest understory, the vegetation lies still in the muted half-light. Branches, stems, and twigs form a dense lattice of vertical lines, a landscape defined more by shapes than by movement. Only when a faint breeze disturbs the foliage does one of the twigs shift not with the wind, but under its own power. A young stick insect, barely larger than a pine needle, steps carefully along a branch. Its body is slender, angular, and astonishingly similar to the vegetation around it. Unlike many insects that only adopt camouflage after a dramatic metamorphosis, this creature begins its life already shaped by the illusion it will rely on for survival. The nymph hatches from an egg resembling a seed. This resemblance is no coincidence. The eggs of many stick insects mimic fallen seeds so effectively that they are often carried by ants into underground chambers. There, the eggs gain protection from predators while the young develop. When the nymph finally emerges, it enters the world not as a soft-bodied larva, but as a miniature version of the adult. Already equipped with the framework for the extraordinary camouflage, it will refine through successive molts. In its earliest hours, the nymph must climb from the forest floor into the canopy, navigating a maze of stems and leaves while avoiding predators such as birds, spiders, and small mammals. Its resemblance to a sprouting twig helps conceal it during this dangerous ascent. The nymph's body is not merely shaped like a twig, it behaves like one. When disturbed, it freezes, aligning its limbs with its body to create a single unbroken silhouette. This immobility can last minutes or even hours. In the eyes of a predator that hunts by movement or contrast, the stick insect disappears completely. This behavior, called tonic immobility, is supported by physiology that allows extended periods of stillness with minimal energy cost. Slow, deliberate motions further reduce the chance of detection. Each step is placed carefully, the legs lifting in arcs that resemble the swaying of plant stems rather than the stride of an animal. As the nymph grows, however, its exoskeleton cannot stretch. Instead, it must molt, shedding its outer layer to expand. This process, repeated many times throughout its life, allows the insect to refine its camouflage with each new stage. Length increases, coloration shifts to match surrounding vegetation, and body shape becomes more angular or more cylindrical depending on species and habitat. These changes are not random. They reflect evolutionary pressures that reward individuals able to vanish in plain sight. The forest canopy is rich with predators using keen eyesight, and only the most convincing illusions survive long enough to mature. Molting serves another purpose beyond growth. It is the mechanism through which stick insects achieve one of the most remarkable regenerative abilities in the insect world. If a nymph loses a leg, whether torn away by a predator or accidentally shed during a fall, it can regrow the missing limb across subsequent molts. The regeneration process begins internally, with undifferentiated cells forming a limb bud beneath the exoskeleton. At the next molt, the insect emerges with a small but functional replacement. Over time, with each additional molt, the limb lengthens and gains strength, eventually becoming nearly indistinguishable from the original. This ability offers a rare advantage in environments where injury is common. A limb lost early in life does not doom the animal. Instead, the injury becomes a temporary setback in a long developmental trajectory. This regenerative capacity comes with constraints. Adults, whose exoskeletons no longer shed, cannot regrow limbs. The window for regeneration is limited to the nymphal stages, making early survival particularly important. Because of this, Stick insects rely heavily on cryptic behavior to avoid confrontations that might lead to limb loss. Holding a twig-like pose, adopting sway motions that mimic wind-blown branches, and choosing resting positions aligned with host plants all contribute to reducing encounters with predators. Even the timing of their activity reflects defensive adaptation. Many species feed and move primarily at night, when reduced visibility and quieter surroundings favor their survival. In the forest's dim canopy, a growing nymph begins to take on the characteristics of its environment with increasing precision. If the surrounding vegetation is brown, the insect gradually darkens. If the region shifts toward green during the rainy season, the insect's hue may also shift. These changes emerge through each successive molt, blending genetic predisposition with environmental cues. The result is a form of slow, cumulative metamorphosis, not the total reconstruction seen in butterflies and beetles, but a steady refinement of shape and color that deepens the insect's illusion with every stage. Predators occasionally pierce the deception, particularly species that hunt by tactile cues rather than sight. Certain bats and nocturnal mammals may locate stick insects by brushing through foliage or by sensing slight vibrations along branches. In these moments, the insect's defenses shift from immobility to escape. Long legs provide leverage for sudden leaps, and the slender body can rotate rapidly to slip out of a predator's grasp. If a limb must be sacrificed to survive, the nymph detaches it cleanly at a pre-designed breakpoint, an evolutionary preparation for regeneration. As the stick insect nears adulthood, its body lengthens dramatically. Some species eventually reach lengths rivaling a human hand, creating an even more convincing botanical disguise. The final molt is a delicate event. The insect anchors itself securely, often hanging upside down, and slowly withdraws from the old exoskeleton. Legs unfold, body stretches, and the new cuticle begins to harden. This last transformation locks the adult form into place. Regeneration will no longer occur, and the insect must rely entirely on its perfected camouflage and behavioral repertoire. The adult emerges not as a radically different creature, but as the culmination of every incremental change that preceded it. Its body now resembles a twig so closely that even seasoned naturalists may overlook it during daylight surveys. Ridged surfaces mimic bark texture, subtle expansions resemble stem nodes, and elongated antennae appear as thin offshoots. Some species adopt a grayish coating of waxy particles that look like lichen growth, enhancing the illusion. Others mimic broken twigs, complete with jagged edges or slight curvature. This level of mimicry is not merely aesthetic, but essential. A stick insect's survival depends on being seen as part of the plant, not as a living organism. Even humans, slow predators in evolutionary terms, frequently fail to notice adult stick insects even when they are in plain view. Their camouflage is not static. Adults continue to use behavioral tricks to reinforce the disguise. When wind stirs the vegetation, they sway rhythmically. When touched, they freeze instantly. Some species drop from branches and lie motionless on the ground, becoming indistinguishable from fallen twigs. These responses reveal how closely their behavior and morphology are intertwined. Camouflage is not simply a visual trait, but a complete survival strategy, involving movement, posture, timing, and texture. The adult's diet remains plant-based, as it was in earlier stages, but feeding occurs primarily under the cover of darkness. During daylight hours, the insect remains still, minimizing the risk of detection. The digestive system, simple yet efficient, extracts nutrients from leaves that many animals cannot digest fully. Stick insects thus occupy a niche that contributes to the slow turnover of vegetation in tropical ecosystems. Their presence influences patterns of leaf damage and, by extension, the dynamics of plant competition and regrowth. Reproduction introduces new complexities. Males seek out females by following pheromone trails or by navigating visually through dense vegetation. Mating can last many hours, with the pair remaining joined while maintaining their cryptic posture. Females lay eggs that resemble seeds once again, perpetuating the odd but effective partnership between plant mimicry and reproductive success. In some species, females can reproduce without males through parthenogenesis, ensuring population continuity even in sparse or isolated habitats. By the time the adult rests on a branch in full daylight, its transformation is complete. The insect is no less extraordinary than a butterfly or moth that emerges with colorful wings. It simply wears its metamorphosis differently. Instead of trading one dramatic form for another, the stick insect refines its disguise across multiple molts, repairing lost limbs, reshaping its body, and deepening its mimicry until it becomes nearly indistinguishable from surrounding vegetation. It is a creature sculpted by slow change, its final form not a burst of color, but the perfect absence of contrast. The twig-shaped figure blends seamlessly into the forest's architecture, overlooked by predators, unnoticed by hikers, and nearly invisible to the world that sustains it. Through regeneration, refinement, and relentless adaptation, it has become a master of disappearance. The last metamorphic chapter in a lineage that transforms not by becoming something new, but by perfecting the illusion of being nothing at all.